after a 123-93. I didn't even know you could lose by that much in an important playoff game. But anyways, Doncic was 35, 7, and 10. Maxi Kleber with 15 points off the bench. And James Harden, this is that window for James Harden, game 5, 6, 7, where people expect him to fail. He had 7 points, 2 of 12. So we start there. I don't understand how to explain this, Lou, why this happens to him, but he goes from one of the best playoff performances ever in Game 4 to whatever that was last night. How?
Hard to explain. You know, you would like to see some consistency going from game to game. Obviously, this was a pivotal game for both teams, and a Game 5 big-time decision in, moving forward in this series and who's going to be the better team. And I just think they didn't show up, didn't have their best night from top to bottom, not just James. I think, none of those guys really came into play, and Dallas was really motivated on moving forward and having a big lead, going home to their home crowd, and they showed up.
It's tough because when you're a player like James Harden, too, you're going to get judged off your play in the postseason. You're going to get judged off games like this. So when you have a game where you're going 2 for 12 and you're turning the ball over and you're inefficient, and there's this run in the third quarter where they missed 9 straight shots and had 4 straight turnovers. Like those are so many empty possessions that just kill you. And then on the flip side, they're not playing defense. They're allowing Luka and Kyrie to do whatever they want. PJ Washington's over there playing off the catch, blowing by guys on the perimeter, throwing lobs to Lively. Like, it's just when their offense is bad, and it wasn't just James Harden, by the way. Paul George was bad. Westbrook, their whole game plan. You could hear on TV them screaming, "He was, let him shoot." Like there's a collective.
That's their game plan.
Yeah, it's their total game plan is to let Russell Westbrook shoot the ball and do whatever he wants on the offensive end. But this doesn't fall on James Harden, but it is this when he's at this stage of his career and all he needs to do is win, and he's had his struggles in the playoffs, he's going to get judged off performances like this. Specifically
in this window of games, that you saw that stat up there with Game 5s. It's something just happens, and I don't know if it's a mental break or what, Shams, but it's it's the largest playoff defeat in Clippers history, which, whatever. What'd you think being in the building?
Their margin of error without Kawhi Leonard is like this razor thin. Like when those two guys, when PG and James Harden, when they show up to the level they did in Game 4, this team has a chance to win and win big. But the problem is last night, 6 of 25 for those two guys, 26 points between Paul George and James Harden. James Harden, a game worse, minus 25 as well. When you think about plus minuses, I know Chandler mentioned Kyrie being plus 35. And after the game, Ty Lue said he's just human, right? Like, this happens.
Sure.
But this has happened to James Harden before. And like Chandler said, the game plan for the Mavericks is let Russell Westbrook shoot the ball as much as he can. He struggled from the field as well. So I think the Mavericks just came out, punched them in the mouth. And you saw Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, the way that they defended on James Harden and Paul George. They took the onus on both those guys. It reminded me of Game 2. Like, they came out aggressively. Kyrie was in James Harden's jersey pretty much and gave him problems. And if this translates to Game 6, Mavericks are in a good place.
I will say the Mavs, their offense is insane, right? When they have those two guys and they're clicking and they're getting 4 threes from Maxi Kleber in the fourth quarter or the first half, like things like that. That's where they really get the boost. But when they're active and they're playing defense like they did last night, and the half court, they had 8 turnovers, 7, 8 turnovers, so they're not letting teams get out in transition and do what they do best. This is where they're really, really dangerous. But when on that third quarter, when they're on that run, it was like a 17-2 run. There was 9 straight missed shots, no free throws, and 4 turnovers. Like, how does Paul George allow that to happen? How does James Harden not get to the free throw line? Like, as those players with Kawhi Leonard out, they have to step up in times like that. And we're talking about, they won games without Kawhi Leonard. They're better offense without him. No, they're not. The Kawhi Leonard's their best team, and I guarantee you he's playing games.
Well, before last night, it felt like that, didn't it? Because they were managed to get 2 wins.
Yeah.
That's all we can go off of. But after last night, I feel like you need.
That's what I love about basketball. The narratives are going to change from game to game.
Hour to hour.
Like, if they come out tomorrow and blow the Mavericks out, we're going to figure out a way
100%.
to say that the Mavericks weren't prepared. These type of things happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't need to happen in a Game 5. That's such an important game. But shit happens, and the Clippers were on the wrong side of it last night.
Another thing I noticed as well, like James Harden early in the game, Lou was there. Like, he missed a few of those floaters that he made in that Game 4 in Dallas. And I talked to the Mavs staffer after the game, like, maybe it was his confidence. Maybe he misses a few, and he didn't stay aggressive either. It's not like he kept shooting. It's not he got up 12 shots. You know, when you struggle from the field, like, do you empty the clip, shoot 20, 22?
But that's what's weird to me is Houston James Harden doesn't rattle his confidence like that especially with Kawhi Leonard out. Like you missed some floaters. Those are bunnies. You're not going to miss the next one. So it did seem like he did get a little passive, which was weird to me because he is one of the most elite scorers of all time, and your best player, Kawhi Leonard, is out. That's when you have the ultimate green light.
Those two guys shot 13 and 12 times.
Yeah, I would rather them shoot 20 and 25 times. Like,
but I think that's a little misleading because halftime it was an 8-point game at half. I think it was 8 to 10 at half. They were playing well, and then it got out of control, and they didn't play majority of the fourth quarter after being blown out. So I think the shot attempts are a little misleading. I think it was a closer game. We're looking at Paul George and James Harden having 20 attempt games. They didn't play a lot of that.
Yeah, by
7
minutes in the fourth quarter, they were pulled. So if it was a close game, you got to imagine they're taking close.
That was the earliest
20.
I've seen a coach wave the white flag. They were down 27. Tyler pulled up.
And
listen, because in their mind it's still a 3-game series, right? So they got us on game 1. Let's go ahead and get you guys out of here, get rested, and we'll get ready for the next game.
And you touched on the plus minus. I hate plus minus because if I check in and someone hits 3 threes in a row and then I come out, I'm my -9. I was in there for 2 minutes.
Yes, you are.
But when you look at a whole overall game and James Harden's -25 and Kawhi and Kyrie Irving's plus 35, that's a drastic difference. That means one's impacting winning and one's not.
Do you think a guy like James Harden, because everyone is we all sort of have our opinions on what happens in the postseason with him, especially as the games go into the series. Do you think that plays into him as well? Like you're saying his confidence maybe got a little rattled. He's very aware of where he's had shortcomings in his career. I mean, if you get to a game 5 and all of a sudden you're struggling, does it start to sort of...
James, I don't think his confidence is rattled at all. I think he just thinks he had a bad game. I think he's going to come out next game in Dallas guns blazing. Like, that's what
really?
He's done. Yes, and he has to. And
I might take that bet.
He knows, he's an elite scorer. He knows that he's maybe a step slow now, but his confidence is not rattled. Like I said, he's one of the best scorers of all time. He's going to bounce back from this. At least he's going to be aggressive. Maybe will shots go in? We'll see. But there's no way this man's confidence is rattled.
Ever. Russell, what do you do with Russell Westbrook? What did he have? 6 points. He's averaging 6 points in the series and shooting. What can you do?
I mean, what will you do? At the end of the day, when Russell Westbrook comes off the bench, he's a role player, right? His name is Russell Westbrook. He's a former MVP. But if you're going to play 16 minutes a game, 6 points is about the average for anybody that's playing that amount of minutes. Now, Russell was extremely aggressive last night, trying to get himself going. So when we talk about confidence wavering, when you play 16 minutes and get 12 attempts out of that, even though those were shots that he normally make, usually he's shooting the midi off the glass. That wasn't going for him. He was attacking the rim, wasn't getting fouls called. That wasn't going for him. Looked like a classic night from Russell Westbrook, just inefficient to me.
Yeah, and I could argue his confidence is a little rattled because when you have a defense playing you like that, there's something a little disrespectful.
But it's been years.
That.
It's been years for him.
But then when the shots don't fall, then all of a sudden, okay, now maybe I'm not. Maybe now I'm going into a dribble handoff instead of shooting that shot because I've missed 4 or 5 in a row. But they can't bench him. He's too valuable to bench. He plays great defense.
Good
his
energy.
He causes turnovers. He needs them on Luka, which is with his activeness and his athleticism. Offensively, he's struggling, but he's got to get back to what he does great. He's got to get downhill. He's got to force turnovers and get out in transition where he is elite still.
Well, let's talk a little Luka because he's got the knee thing going. He had an illness going yesterday as well, and then he puts out that kind of a game. Where do you put that? He's got a lot of great games in his career. Where's this one ranked?
Yeah, it's a good game for him. In the first half, what I liked is the first half, he was a little passive. He saw what was happening. He let Kyrie kind of take the attention. He found Maxi Kleber on some wide open threes to get him going. And then the second half, he just absolutely took over. He dissected the defense. He got everyone else involved. He was more aggressive on the offensive end, and he's just too big. Like, he gets in the paint, he'll body Zubac just for an and one, and he plays at his pace. This was just the most mature half I think I've ever seen him play. And it starts with him on the defensive end. I swear, he's so good offensively, but when he's active and he's fueling himself and he's playing defense, that sparks this team like nothing else.
The Kyrie it's like Kyrie highlight time when this series picks up each night. But here he is, another play last night,
This was nasty in person.
What's crazy is this wasn't even like a top 25 move of his.
Just looks like no one else is there.
Look at that. That's tough.
Like I would tear an Achilles just trying that.
Oh, everything would hurt. Yeah, right there. That feels like something bad would happen.
You know you got it on a string when Norman Powell doesn't even try and reach for the ball there either. He just kind of let him do it. Go behind the back,
Nasty.
crossover.
It was nasty.
You like that one?
It was right in front of me. It was
Shop's
nasty.
like that
it was
one.
Right, it was right near Lou. I don't know if Lou was still there, but
Yeah.
that was
He
nasty.
was in the lounge.
That was nasty.
Yeah.
Is it in the lounge?
Wherever you see that.
Well, there you go.
LeBron and Dallas.
The Lakers
we
could have
got
had him.
him.
The Lakers could have had him
Two in a
potentially
row,
twice.
guys.
Are they gonna draft
Celtics.
Bronny?
Looks like Bronny's going to Dallas now. Yesterday, Boston.
Didn't
It's
see that
happening.
coming.
Who did this? This was sports gods don't like it when you get ahead of yourselves, and somebody did. Dallas to Cancun. Why would you do that outside crypto?
You know what's funny? This doesn't even make sense. It's not like it's like an elimination game. Like regardless
not.
if they lost this game, they still can go to Dallas and come back here. So this wasn't even.
Sky Connor.
This wasn't even funny. Like this wasn't like this. Now
it's just weird.
Now if I'm Dallas on a real elimination game, I'm putting that right back up. Clippers to Cancun and Dallas because this. Shit
I would wait.
Is over.
I would wait until it's over and then you just
That's-
plaster
It's
it
over,
all
Shams.
LA.
You
It's
do need
over.
to do that.
It
Also,
is
it's like
absolutely over.
it's a good
I
moment for
I will
Southwest.
bet a lot of money on the Dallas Mavericks
So
money line.
Fly Scanner, whoever that person is that made that
Yeah.
billboard, apparently they sell cheap flights. So I think they were just trying to get in on the action.
I mean, good for them.
not a real,
And
not
we're
a real
talking
fan.
about it.
Can I ask something that
Brilliant
has-
business.
Like, I want to ask this. It's not part of the script or anything, but why do we keep saying Cancun? I know it started as Cancun, but no one goes to Cancun.
Nobody goes to
No.
Cancun.
So why haven't we
happened.
changed it to
Nick Van
Cabo?
Exel started this.
Yeah.
right?
So can we not
Happened
change?
years
Can we
ago.
not evolve it,
Probably just
Cabo?
an easy place for everybody to know that's a destination spot.
But I feel like
'Cause
every
it's
time we
it's
say
more,
it-
it's more Cabo than Cancun.
Yeah,
It's definitely
1, 2,
Cabo.
3 Cabo.
It's even Tulum before Cancun. It's like let's get through this.
Cancun's out.
They'll be there
Cancun's
in no
out.
time.
Let's make it. We're gonna start it here.
Spring break 2003.
Yeah,
Cancun is-
Senor Franz.
Girls
What are we
Gone
talking
Wild.
about? Okay, I'm
Wait,
sorry.
what?
I've never even been to Cancun. Shams, Kawhi. Is this the daily morning? Were we gonna get Kawhi back or?
Yeah, I was talking to some people pregame around the Clippers, and it's crushing Kawhi Leonard not to be playing. Obviously, he's dealing with that inflammation in his knee. He's already missed multiple games in this series, and it's the same knee he had a torn ACL on and a torn meniscus over the last 3 years. So it's this inflammation is just bothering him. My sense is the Clippers are fully preparing that they're not going to be with him or have him back in the lineup for a Game 6. They know they have to really essentially continue to win without him. We'll see if he can progress in any of these days, but they're mentally ready to play as is.
That's it doesn't bode well for you, Lou. I mean, I know you guys have your own personal little thing, little bet going on here, but doesn't sound like Kawhi's coming back. And then last night's performance, how worried are you about Game 6?
It's a bad night. It's no way to, they pissed the bed. You know, it's no other way to put it. It was a really bad night. The encouraging part is they got another game tomorrow, got an opportunity to tie it back up and then play the last game on your home court. They take care of business on the road. We'll have a completely different conversation come Saturday.
And here's the thing, they've proved they can win without him. So again,
Yeah.
we talked about this before, like they have enough to win. And then once they win Game 6, all the pressure goes back to Dallas for Game 7. You do not, if you're Dallas, you have to end this series right now. You do not want to go back to LA for Game 7.
These things change from day to day. It changes.
1000%.
Let's say the Clippers go into Dallas, get a big win. Now you're the Dallas Mavericks going back to LA, getting on a plane like, damn, can we play this well again in that arena?
And then they have to play that poorly.
Remember
as
last
well.
year with Miami and Boston, they were up, Miami was up 3-2 going back to Miami, then they blew it.
If
in Miami.
Dallas loses Game 6, they need to double down on that ad and put it back up there. 'cause
They
then
do.
Then it would make sense.
That couldn't have been a cheap ad to put up, anyways.
Oh.
That had to be like.
Trying to get in on the action.
Cheap flights, not cheap ads.
Yeah, what? Very well done. Another game.
That's maybe the catchphrase.
It's like
Well said,
I actually
John.
like that. Look, you have a career.